I'm sitting here with a man who was there at the strike 50 years ago.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Tom Molloy, former prison officer.
Yeah.
50 years ago, Tom, a long time.
A long time, it is too a long time, yes.
Do you still remember going, it was part of that strike?
I remember it very, very well. Yes, I do remember it very well, yes, I do, yes. 1974, yes.
What were the reasons why you all went on strike?
Well, the conditions there were awful, actually. We were short staff. It was nothing to go there at 6 o'clock in the morning and work all through, work a double shift, work 16 hours. And the pay was very low, and the uniforms was just rough, very rough, because the prisoners made the uniforms. And then, of course, the reason for the strike was conditions, was pay and general conditions. That was the main what the strike was. And of course, then Tommy King led us into the deputation. I was on the deputation anyway to Mr. Knox, and we had all a bit of a yarn about what we wanted and what we didn't want it. And he wasn't very cooperative with us at all. He didn't want to give us anything, he said. And he said, you'll be knocking on the door. He said, to get back in, don't worry about it. I'm not worried about you, he said. This is what he told us.
You all went to the park over the road from the jail, did you?
Yeah, that was a meeting. We had the meeting over the park of the road, that's right, we did. But then we had the deputation to see Knox, and he's offsider, and quite a few more parliamentarians were there, and also the Controller General, and he was also there. And of course, we tried to thrash out what we wanted and that, and they didn't want to give us nothing. And then, of course, then Townsville came into it then. No, Gaol came out first, then Gaol, and then Townsville, they joined us as well. And of course, it got serious then. Of course, all the police came in, took over, and didn't have the manpower to put in to control all the different prisons. Of course, and then they came to the party more or less. And we can thank Tom King for all that. He getting conditions for us, you know, like the uniforms were made by the prisoners. And they were very rough. They didn't like you, or didn't want to make it all rough and one leg longer than the other, all this jazz, doing that, see. But then they got a company, I think they were down the valley, Freedman's, and they made all our uniforms. And two of them would come out of the prison and they'd line you up and measure you all up and then make the uniforms for you. They made all the uniform very good to a proper fit, and then we got socks, pullovers. We never had them before, and raincoats, big long raincoats like police had. We had got them, so we really got some good conditions. And pay rise, I forget what the pay rise was. I think it's about 13 or some 14% increase, and then we got penalty rights. So the conditions really improved. And we can thank Tom King for that, because he was the one that battled it, got it all, and knew exactly what he wanted.
Tom, tell me a bit about the union that represented prison officers. Were you in a union?
No, I was only a member of the union, but the leaders were Tom King, Les Milverton, and Boggo was the other bloke. There was three of them.
What was the name of the union for prison officers?
Prison Officers Union. It was the Prison Officers Union then. And then, of course, we were members of the State Service Union. That we were Bulger was I think he was secretary, president of the union. Then you had Bredhauer. He was the other one. He was Pat Bredhauer, nice fellow.
He was head of the public service union,
that is
wasn't
correct. He became one of the public service. He did too. Very nice fellow. He was one of the chaps responsible for getting us the conditions we got. They were very good. So that was it, you know. But
the strike action you took,
it was the first time there's ever been a strike there, and people wouldn't believe we'd go out and leave everything there, you know. But you had no alternative. That was the only weapon we had. You know, strike action was the only weapon we had. And they could have avoided all that, but they didn't want to. They wanted to fight us all the way. But then when it got really serious, and police, we used so many police in different prisons, they never had something happened to the police in the police department outside the prisons. They couldn't do it. They hadn't have the staff. So of course that was a very reason for to get us back in as quick as they could.
It must have been pretty serious for you guys to walk off work. Did you all feel very desperate?
We did. We had no, as I say, we had no alternative to walk off. We had no other weapon, sort of thing, you know. That's what we wanted to, and they could have avoided all that. And we still finished up. We got what we wanted and more, I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah, and more.
And more, I reckon we did. Best conditions we ever had. And then we got quite a few extra staff and that. You know, it's nothing to go there every morning and your relief never turned up, and you got to carry on that shift. You can imagine starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then going through the next morning at 6 o'clock. It's a long night. Yeah.
Away from your families and everything.
Exactly right. Yes. Yes.
50 years ago, Tom.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
God.
thinking back that it's half a century ago?
Half a century ago, and it's changed so much. It's changed so much now.
Tell us a little bit about Tom King.
Well, Tom King started, when he started, he just started as an ordinary officer, but then he worked his way up. He got all the different positions, and he became deputy controller, deputy superintendent. He became superintendent. He was very good, you know, and he ran a very tight ship, very strict. He was very good. He did a very great job. He knew all the ins and outs, and he knew how to approach people and ask for conditions and that. He knew exactly how to go about it, you know. He was very good.
He was able to sort of unite all the officers.
Yes, he was. All the officers backed him all the way. Whatever he said, they backed him. Yeah, he was good. He was good, yes. Well, I've been a lot of time for old Tom. He's a very, very good bloke.